Welcome back to Perkins Pipes. Got the Aldo Velani semi-church warden bulldog out today. This one is still, as of the recording of this video, fairly new to me. I've just had him for a few months now, and boy, I really enjoy this one. He's a great smoke, but he's also one he's just great to hold, and there's a reason that's kind of important for today's video. So, got my, again, fairly new brass Zippo for the lighting. As always, let's get this guy lit. Let's get to talking. Now, if I'm going to go through all the description about the pipe and the lighter, I should go and say, well, I've got in the bowl, got some Lane RLP6 in the bowl. One of the things I enjoy so much about this Aldo Velani is just the way it fits in my hand, either with my thumb and forefinger really around the bowl, or even sometimes coming up around the top of the bowl a little bit there. And just, I don't know, feels really, really good to hold and to think a little bit. And that's what I want to talk about. What is going to make people think of you after you're gone? We were at church a while back, and we were singing a song, What a Friend We Have in Jesus. A great old hymn. What a friend we have in Jesus, all our sins and griefs to bear. What a privilege to carry everything to God in prayer. And as we were singing that, which, to be fair, the church we attend, we don't often sing those older hymns. And so when it came up, I was saying to my wife later, I said, boy, that made me think of my mom. She would have loved that. Last couple of years of her life, when she was living near us, we would go by and pick her up each Sunday and take her to our church, which she liked, and was similar to the church that she and my dad have been going to. But, as so many churches have started doing, had kind of been moving away from the traditional hymns and more of the praise choruses and those kinds of things. So anytime one of the old hymns came up, she loved that. In fact, one of the when we moved her into it wasn't assisted living, it was the last independent living that she had before she ended up going into a nursing home. But we'd moved her into some, they were called cottages, but just basically like apartments near us. And so when we did that, we helped decorate her place and literally just bought a thing, I think, at Hobby Lobby. And it became one of her favorite things in about the last year or so of her life. It was a framed picture of a print of like a hymn page of the old rugged cross. So she loved that. And it got me to thinking. When I hear the old hymns, I think of my mom. Obviously, when I think of Bing Crosby, you heard me mention that, and the Bing's favorite Savinelli pipe, it makes me think of my mom. When I think about golf, I think about my dad. When I think about education, I think about them both. So many other things. And it got me to thinking, what will make people think of me after I'm gone? Now, those of you who know me on this channel You may say, well, when I see a pipe, maybe I'll think of Steve. I don't know that many of my friends or family, they might. That might be something that would make them think of me. There's many things that I enjoy, like the pipe. I enjoy woodworking. I doubt that anybody will think of me when they go by and see a scroll saw sitting somewhere. I don't think that. And really, I'm musing about this right now with you in this video. I deliberately didn't think about this ahead of time. I'm thinking about it with you. I imagine that people would think of me when they hear some Latin. I'm so known as a Latin teacher and a lover of Latin and classical studies. And in fact, for decades, I've signed my emails to students Magister P, Magister. Magister is the Latin word for teacher, and a lot of my students will call me Magister. So I imagine if some of my students, who would of course be adults, once they know that I passed, in fact, I know that they're going to think of me in that regard because a lot of them will email me or text me or message me on social media even now with some meme or some article that's come up about something that's been discovered archaeologically. It has to do with the ancient Greco-Roman world. And so I know they're going to think about me when they think about classics, Greek and Roman stuff. I think those who know me very well, and at this point I would probably honestly say this would be my children, if something ever were to pop up about the poet Alexander Pope, the British poet, who is my all-time favorite, they might say, oh, yeah, that was Dad's favorite poet. And I suppose my children might say, yeah, when they see a pipe somewhere, they say, yeah, that makes me think of Dad. He smoked a pipe. And all these are fair enough things, and maybe they see a Mustang. I guarantee you, the people who know me, when they hear classic rock music play, especially Deep Purple, and most especially Striper. No joke, I want my entire catalog of music played at my funeral. Because I want to subject everybody to my music. But I guarantee you, the people who know me, if they hear, Striper's song, something comes up, To Hell with the Devil, Soldiers Under Command. Honestly, they're going to say, ooh, I remember a guy who was really into Striper back in the day. These are all good things. I'm happy to be remembered for them. And I'm going to stop here in the middle with the first question for you, and then we're going to go a little bit deeper, and I think you could probably tell from the tone of my voice that we are. But what sorts of things like that? Hobbies, objects, interests will make people think of you. Your friends and family who will say, oh, yeah, boy, she would have really liked that. He would have really enjoyed that. Pop those comments in the comment section. Okay. Now we move to the deeper stuff. Am I pleased that that's how I would be remembered? And of course, I could be entirely wrong. I could be entirely wrong. It may be people think of me when they see somebody wearing a baseball cap. They go, yeah, Steve always wore baseball caps. I don't think that's what's going to come to their mind, but who knows? Maybe it will. But is that how I want to be remembered? Again, those are all the things I've named are fine, and I'm happy to be remembered that way, if I'm remembered at all. But do I want to be remembered for something more? And the answer is yes. As much as I love teaching Latin, all that other stuff, I like the fact that I think of my mom when I think of the old hymns. When I think of the King James Bible, I think of my mom. Will people think of me when it comes to anything to do with Christian faith? With Jesus? And this part, listen, good, bad, or ugly, please do not comment on this part of the video. I'm not looking for compliments, and of course I'm not looking for insults either, so don't comment on this. But I wonder, will I be remembered for loving the way Jesus did? As I hear myself say the words, somehow I doubt it. Will I be known for forgiving the way Jesus does? Somehow I doubt it. Will I be known for stopping and noticing people? Giving them my full attention? I try to do that. But that's a hallmark of who Jesus is. Is that a hallmark of who I am? I question that. I think, again, if I had to guess, I'd be known for academic things. Again, nothing wrong with that. But as I sit here, hand wrapped around the Aldo Velani bulldog, pondering and musing on the big questions, I do think I'd like to be remembered for something more. So now the last question for you. What would you really like to be remembered for? Not what do you think you will be remembered for, but what would you like to be remembered for? And are those the same things? Are the things that you think you will be remembered for the same or different from the things you'd like to be remembered for? And then, if there's a difference, what are you and I going to do about that? Remember the end of Stairway to Heaven, the classic song by Led Zeppelin from 1971, their fourth album. There's still time to change the road you're on. So, if there's a difference, what are we going to do about it? Folks, I clearly have some thinking to do. So I'll leave you with that. As Malcolm Guite likes to say, I do these little things in order at last to do nothing. Or as I like to say in Latin, Parva tandem, nihil agam. Have a wonderful day.